Welcome to Timber&Terra. I'm Glenn, and we are up here on my 45-acre woodlot, which is a couple miles down this road to my house, because this is sort of an unmaintained section of that road that I live on. So I'm here for, at least initially, just to sort of freeze the roads in. I have two roads that I'm working on. One is in that direction, the other's in that direction. This firewood came from clearing that section. So the first thing I'm going to do now here is just to drive on these roads, what we call freezing in. There might be other terms for it, but basically what it means is to compact the snow and allow the cold to, well, not the cold doesn't go in, actually the heat comes out, but to allow the road to freeze. Because with this powdery snow, which we just got a fresh 4 to 6 inches last night, just the heat of the earth, that's enough insulation where it's really not going to freeze much. So driving over the road sort of compresses all that snow. You can squish any puddles up and it allows all that to freeze. So hopefully if we don't get another warm spell, which like we just had up into the 50s here a few days ago, then this will be good enough for the rest of the winter. And the other thing is for traction. So with this fluffy snow, if that's all I had for traction, these chains are less effective. They still work well, much better than no chains with these particular tires, these R4s. But hard-packed, sort of frozen-ish snow, you can't beat it. It's almost like a rack and pinion. The studded chains really dig in, and it just goes. So most of the time I do not need four-wheel drive. The only time really I need four-wheel drive in the woods is if I'm turning around or if I'm in some sort of virgin snow that I haven't packed down before. So I have done this once before this year, like I said. Then we got a thaw, and it probably didn't completely eliminate all the work I had done running these roads in, freezing them in, but it certainly lessened their effectiveness. And at the time I did that, there was a fair amount of mud, at least in two areas as I got down over the hill in these two roads. So I have no idea what I'm going to find, but I thought maybe it'd be a good time to do some time lapse of me driving in, driving out, both this road and that road. At some point they will connect at the other end of the property. Right now they do not, so they're sort of independent roads. But my objective this year is just to continue working on these roads, clearing them, taking out firewood like I have here, and then next summer, with whatever I'm able to clear, is go through with the excavator and sort of smooth them out, remove rocks, stumps, things like that. So this is a little bit of a fuzzy map of my woodlot, but the green here is sort of the planned layout of the road. Some of these have actually come to fruition, and it actually shows up on this map, which is an agency of natural resources in Vermont, but I'm guessing it's based on Google Maps. So the first road we're going to go down is this one here, and that ends right about there. So you see this little jog in the road, which appears to be on the map there, sort of a dark there. You see just above this green line. That was sort of a switchback because going straight this way, it'd be quite a drop off, so I couldn't do that. So I had to take a left, sort of go down, meander around the hill that way. And then just as I need to turn left here to sort of make this end of the road, that's where we stop. The other section of the road that I've done is this one here, probably stopped right about there, my best guess. So that's where we're going to go down on this other road from the landing. So this area here is the landing, so the open area. So I will mention in my video later this area here, which is all swamp. So basically this area here is all swamp. As I mentioned in the video, I have a little bit of property just on the other side of this wetlands. Not much, but it's almost inaccessible because there really is no easy path to get across here. This is quite wide. It's all marshy. It's not like a narrow place that I can make some sort of a temporary bridge or, put a culvert in or something like that. So anyhow, this is sort of the layout of the land, and basically the bright blue here on the road is what I've completed so far. I haven't touched what we call the north road because this direction is north. So it's always fine coming in, and the last time I did that it was actually fine going out, but you can see this is still very much muddy. There's standing water there. I did make some ditches here because I'm guessing there's some groundwater, some springs. So I made a bit of a ditch there to try to divert the water that away. But when it gets to the other side of these yellow birch, it just comes that way. So I knew when I smoothed this out this past summer that I was going to have to do some work to redirect the water. I'm guessing I may have to put a pipe or a culvert in to allow that water to go that way, where the road keeps sort of going right behind where the tractor is. But outside of where the water might actually still be flowing, I think the road is in pretty good shape. I didn't see much in the way of mud on the way down. In fact, rode pretty hard over some of the frozen ruts that I made last time. So while I'm down here, on the way back out, it might be nice to take at least a small twitch of logs to help, pack down the road, so that the only thing that's getting packed down is not just the tractor wheels, but the logs could actually sort of drag, and almost like a snow groomer, snowmobile trail groomer, that sort of thing. But I don't have a clear path as to where I'm going. I know I was debating this when I was here last. The green ribbons is sort of the direction that I want the road to head, and somewhere out there I got to find out where the next one is. But I want to avoid taking decent trees, particularly like these straight yellow birch, this ash, like this one, like that one. They're probably going to go away soon anyhow because of the emerald ash borer, so I'm not too concerned about taking ash. Okay, there's that green ribbon right there in front of me. Dead beech. So, I'm going to have to spend some time figuring out which of these trees I want to take down, and maybe actually cut some down and drag them out. Well, after walking around here a bit, I'm beginning to have a significant change of mind, change of opinion here as far as where the road should go. I started cutting some of these small little trees here, and then I was going to cut the ones that are worth dragging out for firewood. So wherever the tractor is, or just behind it, just on this side of it, I'm sure there's some running water or some mud that I'll have to deal with crossing it, as I mentioned. It sort of goes along there, and then the road needs to go to the left to meet up with that other road that I mentioned when we were at the landing. Hopefully you can see the green ribbons down that way. So we have to head that way. So that little swale there continues right there. So I'd have to cross it twice. Part of the reason I wanted to get over here is, maybe you can see straight ahead there's a little bit of an opening, but if you keep going that way, there becomes a swamp, and then I have a little bit of land on the other side of the swamp, which I have yet to figure out how I'm going to access. There's really no easy way to put sort of a land bridge, culvert, that sort of thing. It's just too wide, and it covers the full width of my property. But anyhow, so I'll leave that for another time. So I was walking, and let's go back up here, and I was thinking, well, maybe I can avoid crossing that swale twice. I'm going to have to deal with water eventually because it all comes down off that hill you can see there. and then goes towards that swamp there to the right. So I know I'm going to have to deal with water at some point, but I don't want to deal with it any more than I have to. Yeah, look at that, right where I step is slushy water. So, and here's where that ditch starts. So the water is off the road at this point. So I'm thinking, well, why don't I just skirt to the left of that little swale, which is right there. And you can see where I walked here, and sort of go this direction instead. And just meet up with those green ribbons sort of straight ahead, and they'll dogleg a little bit to the left, which would be sort of due north to meet up with my other east-west road. So that's what I think I'm going to do. But then the challenge becomes, I'm not sure what I put off, pushed off to the side of the road. I know there's a couple stumps there. I'm pretty sure there are some big rocks under here. So I got to pick my poison, figure out where to go. Maybe use the push blade if I get that far to sort of push that stump out of the way, and maybe continue down here. So anyhow, I have a little more thinking to do as far as what exactly I'm going to take up for or take down for trees. But I did not plan to be down here much today, much longer. This is Christmas Eve. I got a late start, had some things to do in the morning. Really, I just wanted to come down here, drive the roads, freeze them in, so that, in the next week or so, I can come down here and spend more time with decent roads. So I may still try to determine a direction here, take a couple trees down, and then drag them back out to sort of do what I can with the roads. That would make this area here, this mud hole, just completely avoid it. I'll deal with something further down there, but I'll deal with that later, and that'll be, a couple less instances of having to deal with mud and water. All right, I'll bring you back when I know what I'm doing. Well, what I've decided, it's a bit of a shame, but I think it's all for the better, is to abandon where the tractor sits as part of the road. And I say it's a shame because I spent so much time down here with the excavator in this little section to get that water off that way. But instead of there, you can see my footprints here in the snow. I think I'm going to head down that way. Basically avoid that little hump. The only issue I have here, which I know are some big rocks, and I do not want to drive over those. Drive over these with the tractor. So I don't know, maybe I can skirt it on this side. More rocks. Well, what I may do is take some of these trees down, like this beech. I think that maple there is going to come down either way, whether I go over here or over there. Sort of make a path for me to avoid these rocks. But then the final location of the road, when I have the excavator down here and I can move these, relocate them, is make more of a gentle curve here. There's no sense coming down here and then making sort of an abrupt turn to go that way. Who knows, if I get enough snowpack, maybe I can ride over those. But alright, so I'm just going to take down a couple of these trees in this area. We'll drag them out and then go look at the other road. Well, I figured that beech tree was going to be a little difficult. I have most of the butt cut off. There's just a little bit of fiber holding it on. But you can see here, between the very top and these branches here, it's sort of wrapped around this maple next to it. So it's not really going anywhere without a little bit of encouragement. So when I hook the cable on there, that should be weak enough where the cable will just pull it off the stump and hopefully pull it down harmlessly. Normally it would pull it up over that stump, but the way that's sort of wedged in the tree, I think is sort of forcing it this way, really putting a lot of pressure on that. So if this doesn't work, then I can cut a little bit more of an angle. In fact, maybe I'll just do that now. Well, I think that's a good start. Got 3 trees. 2 of them have 2 16-foot firewood logs, so 32-foot stem, and then this last one 48 feet for 3 16-foot logs. So what I think I can do, if I remember when I come down here again, avoiding the rocks that are sort of right there, I think I can skirt between those trees and there, go down here, sort of follow my footsteps, but the footsteps may be gone when I'm back here again. I didn't bring flagging tape, and the tape that I had down there is so brittle it just falls apart when I try to take it off. So I think I can remember what I did, and hopefully I won't be too long before I'm down here again. I'm either going to work on this road or the other one, which we still have to ride down. Alright, so let's hitch these up and head out. Well, I misjudged where to stop as far as where the end of those logs were. That's why I ended up pushing those back that way. It's kind of better to have two separate piles, because if they get intermingled together, you push it and they get all, pixie sticks. So I spent a lot more time down that road than I anticipated. So I think when we go down this, the middle road, the newest road that I started working on, it's just going to be drive in, drive out, sort of freezing the roads. I don't think I'm going to cut anything. Okay, I lied. I'm gonna cut down a tree. This leaner here, several videos ago, I cut this down. I think it was when I came to winch out some logs that were up there that I couldn't get with the trailer. Or maybe it was when I had the trailer. Yeah, I think it was when I had the log loading trailer. I cut this down to get it out of the way, and it just never fell down. I said, I'll deal with it later. Well, now it's later, so I'll drag that one out. This beech with the infamous beech bark disease. I'll take this down. So the green ribbon is where the road is. I put some pink on here because when the snow was not here, that green ribbon was awful hard to distinguish. So I put a couple pink ribbons there to sort of figure out where the road's going to go. So you can see here, if I sort of stand in line between here and the tractor, that tree's dead center. So I'll take that one down, finish taking this one down, and that'll probably be it. And that'll allow me to look forward to continuing down that way. It's so tempting to keep cutting. I mean, this one's got to come down, probably that one. I'll leave that nice maple, but just plow that way. There's just so many obvious trees that are going to come down to make a nice... I could make an easy 25, 50 feet from here. But Christmas Eve, I got things to do. It's gonna get dark soon, and I'd be pushing my luck if I did anything other than go home. All right, so let's head out. Well, that was not the most graceful, but I guess it got the job done. They're out of the way. Still end up being a little bit of a pixie stick pile, but still wet. And you can see I dug those little forks in. It's with it tipped back, sort of straight, level. The forks level with the ground. I can't see them, so I don't. It's hard for me to judge if they're in the ground or above the ground. So that's what I tip forward so I can see the forks on the bottom, and then sometimes it's easier. Anyhow, so I spent a little bit more time today than I thought I was going to. I thought I was just going to freeze the roads in, come back some other day and do some work, but I'm guessing this video is long enough, so we'll end it here. I appreciate you tagging along, and there will be future videos of me continuing one or the other or both of these roads. They both have some progress that can be made without any, really without any problems. So I hope you stay tuned for those. Thank you again for watching.